Hey y'all, welcome back to Muddy Paws Disc Golf. This week we headed to Turkey Hill Disc Golf Course. We got some suggestions, people telling us this was a super hard and super fun course. So we took the suggestions and played the long to long, even if it might have been a little out of our skill range. Hole 1 is a chuck it up the center type of hole. We all ended up kind of fading out the wrong way. I think we were all just kind of trying to overthrow it. The hole is over to the left, the short basket is to the right, so we all ended up closer to the short basket.
Or go really well.
Dad sinks the putt for par, and me and Matt end up with bogeys. Hole 2 is a straight shot with a low tunnel. Dad pulls it a little high and clips the trees. Ends up in the center. Matt throws a mid-range, his compass up the middle, gets some fade.
Yeah.
He gets out comfortably. And I throw my destroyer up the center and just barely clip a tree. I end up close to Matt though. Everybody is able to sink par on hole 2. Hole 3 is a flat shot where the road is out of bounds. Dad goes aggressive and ends up soaring it right over the road. Pretty much perfect.
Oh, you skipped on it.
Me and Matt decide to take the more conservative lines here. But we still end up getting some decent distance.
Oh, wow, that bounced.
You'll be all right.
Oh, crap.
Matt gets a bogey, and me and Dad pull pars. Hole 4 is a long par 4 over a water hole and then through a wooded but somewhat open section. Somehow none of us could hit the gap here, even though it's massive.
Wow.
I think it was something with the water that was messing with our heads. So we all end up over in the bushes somewhere. Just a matter of overthrowing it, I think.
Now I'm under another tree. I couldn't see it at all. So. Nice shot. No, it is. It's parked.
Ew. Puddle water. Dad sinks a pretty long shot to par. I make my putt for a bogey, and Matt ends up with a 7 after missing that putt. Hole 5 is a skinny shot with a hard left at the end. Dad takes the inside of the corner and gets a kick. Would have been perfect though. Throw it up a little too high and catch the trees. And Matt follows Dad's line, but does not get the skip he was looking for. Dad sinks another par. Well, Matt misses for bogey, and I make my bogey, leaving me with a 4 and Matt with a 5. First shot on hole 6 is pretty much going to be straight up the alley. It's almost too tight to make the right-hand corner, and then you end up just throwing straight up the right-hand corner and hoping you can land it close to the cup. It is a par 4. Matt goes in a little early there. Matt just couldn't seem to get any luck on this front 9. But I have a pretty strong upshot, giving me a chance at birdie.
Flatten it out.
Dad cages his birdie putt. Matt hits his off the top. And I make my birdie putt. So Dad will end up with a par. Matt will get a bogey, and I get a birdie. The next shot goes over some weeds and dead leaves and stuff, and it's just a hard right-hand curve to the basket. Matt throws an absolute bomb over the top. Dad tries to forehand, but doesn't get exactly what he was looking for. Me and Matt get pars, and Dad gets a bogey on this one. Hole 8 is just a super long par 4. Pretty much
Good
just rip
shot.
it up the center for your first shot, and I'm able to do that pretty well.
Perfect.
Matt throws a pretty
Get
solid
around
shot that has a little bit too much height and catches a tree. And Dad tries to throw it really hard and ends up in the bushes to the left. Yanked it up. Dad gets a bogey here, Matt gets a double bogey, and I pull the par. Hole 9, you have an option to go around the trees either way and then shoot down the alley to the long basket. I get caught up. Matt throws an absolute beauty of a shot that lands right by the mouth of the opening to the long basket. And Dad rips it again just like he did on the last hole and ends up in the same bushes. Wasn't happy about that one. Matt continues his bad streak of luck with trees. Dad goes up, and I try to sink for par, but I can't get it. So me and Matt get bogeys, and Dad gets a double bogey.
Ready?
Hole 10 is a straight but super wooded shot. Matt goes up. Dad gets knocked down by a tree early. And I throw one that gets knocked down pretty early on, and I am not happy about it at all.
Oh, you son of a...
In the end, me and Dad get bogeys and Matt gets a par. Next hole is a short but super easy to overthrow drive that if you go too far, you fall off the edge of a cliff out of bounds. Matt laces one pretty perfectly. I tried to play it a little too safe and ended up fading out left. Dad also takes the forehand route, gets a good skip, and ends up about 30 feet out. Dad almost laces a 30-foot scuba. Can't make it. Matt gets a birdie, and I end up sinking my par. Dad also gets a par. Hole 12 is just an uphill chuck. Matt ends up off to the side. I shoot one pretty decent with a mid-range. I throw a compass. And Dad also throws a compass about the same as I did. Dad lays up. Matt lays up. And I can't make the putt, so we'll all end up with pars on this one. 13 is a brutal par 4 that goes on a pretty hard corner and then slopes back the other way. Our first shot was pretty much just to get around the first corner.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot. That's a good shot. Missed the tree.
We pretty much all lay up here. I go for par. Dad also sinks his par, and Matt parred as well. 14 is just a long straight shot
Into the sun.
where you start in an alley and then work your way out to the clear. We all pretty much throw it up the center here.
Whoa.
Dad throws an aggressive shot over the tree line.
Oh no.
I toss one up that gets somewhat close. And Matt tries for a baseball throw roller that works better than we all expected. Go ahead. We all par on this one. On 15, Dad cut a little left. I end up to the right and clip the trees. Sorry about the light, it was really bright, hard to focus. And Matt throws one that is on a little bit of a left curve and ends up in the other fairway. Not out of bounds though.
Not too far. Oh, damn it.
My shot curves out slightly. And Matt throws a baseball throw, but the wing catches it and pulls it back into the rough.
Get in.
This was a pretty tough hole. Hole 16 is definitely one of the easier holes on the course. You just got to throw it and get it on the right curve, and you definitely have a chance at birdieing. Matt throwing a mid-range. Dad lays up right under the cup. Matt tries to throw a forehand here, but starts it on way too hard of a curve. And I go for the jump putt and end up under the cup. Dad makes a good shot for par. I get a par. And Matt taps for a bogey. 17 is probably the hardest hole on this course. It's just insane. The first shot is pretty long. The wind caught both me and Matt's, and we ended up in the bushes. Dad is actually able to get pretty far out in the fairway, throwing a 14-speed king. But the hardest part about this hole is after the first shot, you have to go down probably another 250-foot alley after
Safely
that.
out.
It is a par 4 though. So me and Matt both shoot out from the bushes. I try to throw one down, but catch the inside. And Dad does similarly to me, but he'll be okay. Matt throws another forehand that avoids turning over
Drop down.
and gets down near the cup. Throw mine on a hard hyzer, but it's outside of putting range. Dad lays up for his par chance. I miss my par.
Get closer than that.
Matt taps for a 5, I get a 4, and Dad also got a 4. 18 is basically just go over the water feature and then to the cup. It's definitely longer than the first water feature, but Dad stays calm. Matt
Carry.
throws it pretty low but gets over. And I just freak out and
God.
throw it on a hard right curve. Now, I thought for sure it was in the water. Matt throws a hard shot that lands outside of circle 1, but just barely. Dad actually lands it on the platform of the elevated basket. And I actually walked into the swamp to look for mine before looking for it outside of the swamp where I saw it lying in the grass. So, yeah, that was a mistake on my point. I lay mine up. So, all in all, this course is really challenging. It's a ton of fun, though, and it's super well made. It also has one of the best player bases in Maryland. If you're looking for a good, fun, challenging course, come try this one out. Thank you for watching. This has been Muddy Paws Disc Golf.